Hey guys, this is Scott Horne with a good friend of mine here, Josh Duke, who's a wholesaler here in the DFW area. Also a member of the Sub-2 community as well, from what I understand. Josh, I have been in this business for a lot longer than you have, probably 3 times longer than you have.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that you're that young or I'm that old, but just saying, And, I go back in time, and I go back into the late 80s, early 90s, and believe it or not, my offices, without knowing this term, were actually, we were wholesalers in a sense. We had 10 people in the back room, floating contracts everywhere. Typically, it was to buy for our own account, not to sell the contracts, but occasionally we did way back then. And you go back in time a little bit. I'll give you a bit of history. That term wholesaler really didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the word sub-2 didn't exist then.
Right.
We called it a silent assumption is what we called it, because it wasn't, it was just a different term because it was valued between seller and buyer, just it was silent as to the lender.
Oh, wow.
Same thing, only different, as we say. But I go back in those days, and you really didn't have wholesalers. Most people were just investors who were buying properties.
Okay.
And they weren't out there turning and burning, contracts just left and right.
So you're the OG of wholesalers, essentially.
Well, we did a little bit, but nothing that I would call anything on that volume level at all.
Yeah.
That just wasn't us. We were mostly a buy and hold.
Yeah.
Way back in those days, and still today. But you watch the evolution of our business over time. You go through real estate crashes. For instance, there was a crash in the mid late 90s. Things kind of changed. Then the market turned. Then you go into the subprime era, 2000 to 08, 09. Then you go into the real estate crash, 08, 09.
Yeah.
And then you get into this funky period for 10 years thereafter. It was just all over the place. And as that market changed and turned, and with, of course, the advent of the internet and overnight gurus, everybody became a wholesaler.
Yeah.
How to get rich quick, how to do all this kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, that's what really attracted me into the business, honestly. It was, it was this get rich quick scenario, which I didn't fall for that, right? But I scratched the surface at looking, well, what is this business? I've always had an eye on real estate.
I think you got to buy a lottery ticket to get rich quick, don't you?
Yeah, you definitely do. And that doesn't even work really. No. But so I that's how I saw it, and it's just blown up over the years, and it's getting more and more blown up that way, of course, right? Which is attracting a lot of different people into the business.
I get out there, and by the way, there are what I would call good wholesale companies.
Yeah.
There are companies I would call not so good wholesale companies. And by that I mean, I look at, for instance, what goes out there is these companies that they substantially overinflate value.
For sure.
They underinflate renovations and repairs.
For sure.
They don't have a clue how to estimate them, but they market it as if it is to what I would deem to be the unscrupulous, not unscrupulous, the unwitting investor,
or newer kind of investor.
And they get in this deal thinking it's all good. They don't do their own homework, and they just get absolutely screwed.
Correct.
So, I look at you, and I think you guys do a pretty good job of evaluation. You don't push the envelopes.
No.
I mean, I get there's a number you can work off of, but it's not way up here over.
We don't shoot to the ceiling. We actually try to, if you were to talk to any of our buyers and we put out ARV, after repair value, you're going to hear all of them say, yeah, that makes sense. That's what you're going to get from us. Other wholesalers, not so much. Yeah.
No, right? I see that, man. Yeah. And it's understanding how to evaluate repairs and tell your people to do it. I mean, and everybody wants to do things so they can maximize all this money on one deal.
Yeah.
And I look at that and go, guys, you're doing this the wrong way.
Yeah.
You don't make money on one deal. You make money over the longevity of business, over 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Good clientele, repeat business, over and over and over again.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
But what do y'all do? I mean, is that your approach?
Yeah, no. So our approach is when we get so this is how we approach it from front to end. We talk to our seller, and we're not looking, where we're the good ones is most wholesale companies that are looking for that one transaction, that big whopper of a deal. They're going to really push the seller down as low as they possibly can. And that's not our strategy, right?
No meat in the bone at all.
Exactly.
Right?
We want to be, as fair as we possibly, because we think about the long-term effect of our business, right? What's 10 years from now look like? And if we have sellers really telling us that these guys are beating us up left and right, that doesn't do any good business. So we try to be as fair as we can. And then on the disposition side, we look at, okay, what's the after repair value? What does it truly look like? Let's look in, 60 or 90 day, 180 day max comps to really evaluate that. And are things moving over here too? Like we go way above of just like, let me find one house that sold really high. That's your ARV. Like that's what most of these guys do. But look at that house. No, that we're going to look at everything. We're going to be really encompassing.
Or they go out of the neighborhood to pull that in.
They go out of the zip code. Let's look at the whole zip code. It's like, are you serious? Get out of here. And so what we want to do is make sure that we're always fair on both sides of it so that we can repeat business. We can get referrals from our sellers and we can get our buyers that are going to keep coming for more.
I'll make a comment on that. I go back. I remember this one guy, and I can't get you his name right now, but we bought a deal from him. Then I bought another deal from him. Then I bought another deal from him. And we eventually bought like 20 houses.
Yeah.
He was an investor, and he was an older gentleman, and he was liquidating his portfolio. And this is at the advent of the original Homevestor franchise. This is back in 1990, 94, 95, back in those areas when it was just coming on board and things like that too. So there were other people out there buying houses. And he had other ways and other places to go too. Yeah. He kept coming back because, just as you said, we made him a fair offer.
Fair, yeah, that's what it is.
We weren't cutting to the quick and whatnot. And I think when you can leave that little bit of, we always call it a little bit of meat on the bone for the seller, they sell it the good taste in the mouth. Mm-hmm. And I used to have a philosophy. It's like, I have been a repeat buyer forever. But if you come to me and you screw me, and you hit me with this huge assignment fee, whatever it might be, as opposed to realizing you can come back to the well 20 times and I'll buy you're going to make a whole lot more money doing 20 deals than doing that one deal, because I'm going to go, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah, exactly.
And they don't understand that philosophy.
No, they just think of the short term. That's what I'm saying. They think about the now. Oh, I can make whatever it is. You can make a lot of money in wholesale for sure. You can make 20, 30, 40, 50. Some people make $60,000 off a single deal. But what did they have to go through to get that, right? And what did they do to the people on the side of that deal? Will you be able to repeat that again and have the integrity to do it again based on that previous transaction?
There's the word right there, the integrity.
The integrity, yeah.
And it's integrity to the seller, but it's also integrity to your buyer.
Yeah.
I mean,
and to your
if I close a deal with you, I want to know that I got I'm okay if you're making money.
Yeah, exactly.
This business is about making money. I'm going to spend money somewhere. Advertising,
for free,
times. There's a cost to doing business we all incur.
Right.
That you just encouraged, or you had the same thing. So when I pay you a fee, it's paying you for your cost and time, advertising, et cetera, to get there. Right. And I'd have to do the same thing too. This is what they don't think about.
Correct.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
No, and I'll look at it and say, hey guys, you're going to do a business. Just don't gig me. Do the right thing.
Right.
Because if you do it one time, you lost that buyer forever. Right. You lost that seller forever. Right. And then you have to recultivate all those people again.
Talking about bad wholesalers, we can even go on the other side of it. Some bad wholesalers will talk to our sellers, and we know that most investors can buy a property, let's say for $100,000. They're going to tell the seller that we can buy it for $125,000, $135,000. What seller in their right mind is not going to want to go with this guy that says he can give me $25,000 more? But what they do is they do that with the intention of getting the contract, knowing now they have the control. And what happens is now they try to sell the deal, and then they work on price reducing that seller as they're under contract, going into the deal full knowingly that's what they're going to do. And some of these people are really bad situations. They need this house sold like next week, right, to save whatever is going on, and they go into that transaction knowing that they're going to screw them over.
Yep.
It's kind of.
And I see that all the time, and I hear that. I know that when we go in and meet the seller, we advise them of that exact scenario to watch out for it. This is what goes on.
Yep.
It's not a good thing. And we try to get educated sellers, educated buyers. But you're right. And it's wrong. And it's that integrity. It is that character. And, there are bad apples in everything you do. There are bad lawyers, bad accountants.
Absolutely.
Bad
doctors.
I mean, all of them, bad investors. I get it.
Yeah.
But, from my end, I like doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I can sleep at night a lot easier.
Definitely.
You feel good about what you do. It's like when we do a construction project and a rehab on a house, we do the right thing. We don't try to hide. Right. I had somebody one time, I bought a package of houses from this one investor, and this one street I bought a few houses on. It was bad. It was so bad, we gave one of the houses to the local police to set up their cameras in it for all the drug dealers and prostitutes on the street.
Oh, there's that. Okay.
That's new. This was in a decent part of town. It just was one street.
Okay.
And luckily they did come in and clean up. But we went in, and this guy had hidden all the stuff in the house.
Yeah.
Covered up holes with
Right.
newspaper.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then just painted over it.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
at first
wow.
blush, you miss it. And it was just, it was everywhere.
wow.
I mean, I can't even tell much. And then after we bought it, he kept collecting the rents for like 3 months afterwards. Even though we would talk to him, give him notice to the point we were filing evictions on these people. And they're going, yeah, but we paid so-and-so. It's like, you know what? We told you we bought the house. We gave you evidence. We gave you this, and you didn't do it. Sorry, buddy, you're out.
Yeah.
You know, and we did wind up suing that guy and winning eventually. But that's the stuff you run into. It's like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
You know, I find that when you get out there, Josh, and, you know, you do things the right way, you tell people the truth.
Yep.
You make them a fair offer, buy, sell, whatever it might be, whether you're rehabbing it, going retail or whatever in those scenarios, things work out well for the most part.
Right.
There's a direct correlation between, you know, how you deal with people, the product you give somebody, the price, you know, if you're doing seller financing, for instance, a lot of what we do, they're making sure they have the ability to afford it so you don't oversell things and whatnot.
Yep.
You keep it reasonable. Things usually work out pretty well. It's when you deviate from all that, you try to go the other direction, things crater.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, I know in your world, Josh, you know, one of the things you're looking for always are, you're looking for good investors who want to come in.
Absolutely.
Deal with a good.
Absolutely.
No,
We're looking good investor
respectable
buyers.
company.
We're looking for, you know, even newer investors. We've got, you know, people on my team. Obviously, I've done flips along the way, and we can help people, newer people too, that just got in the business. I love doing that, actually. Or senior people that, you know, hey, looking for somebody new that they haven't worked with before. I'm always out looking for that. So,
Well, I think we're all doing that. We want good people. We want good quality. You want to be, and again, you cultivate this.
Yeah.
And the more you cultivate, it's a win-win for you. It's a win-win for, you know, the investor coming to you and those kind of things. And it's building relationships with people that you can trust.
Absolutely.
And, you know, again, it's unfortunate you see that in our world that there's just, you just don't get that out there, it seems like.
yeah, no, for sure.
So whenever you can run across that, you want to do it and cultivate. So guys, if you ever want a good wholesaler to find a way to get some conduit to buy houses, take a minute, reach out to Josh Duke over at We Love Homes.
We Love Homes. That's right. You can reach me.
I got
at
that
my
right.
Email. You did. There you go. It's on my shirt though. So there's the first clue. But you can email me, Josh D at welovedallashomes.com. And my phone number is 469-389-0130. You can give me my phone number. Feel free to call me. So
Awesome. Guys, hope all this helps you out a little bit. We look forward to seeing you all next time. Thanks, Mr.